Shalom, welcome. My name is Bernadine. Welcome to Sharing His Light. Welcome back to all the new subscribers. I ask those of you who have been watching my videos and have not yet subscribed to subscribe. And I ask all of you to turn on your notification buttons so that you are notified when I upload a new video. Brothers and sisters, I thank you so much for watching my videos. It gives me great pleasure to bring to you another revelation or several revelations from the Most High, which points to the definite regathering of his people, Israel, Yasharel, Israel, whatever you call it. Brothers and sisters, consider this 4 visions, but 1 message. And I would leave you at the end of this video to consider, or I would love for you at the end of this video to consider whether or not a regathering of the children of Israel, the children of Yasharel, the children of Israel is going to come to fruition. So because it is 4 visions or 4 dreams, you will permit me to read as I refresh my memory concerning what Yahuwah has revealed to me over the last few years and even recently. Okay? So this first vision that I had, I didn't understand it, right? I did not understand what it was until recently, as my eyes began to open, as Yahuwah called me, as Yahuwah told me that he wants me to work for him, and I will overturn things. So I will restore his words. As Yahuwah brought me to that place, and brothers and sisters, there are many out there who know when Yahuwah has spoken to them. And I knew because I had several revelations when he spoke to me concerning what he wanted me to do. So here I go. Back in 2018, I have always had the experience of seeing things before they happen and stuff like that, or when they have occurred. But I never really took it on. But it's not until, as I said recently, that it really came home to me. So in 2018, I dreamt that I was at one of these shows in my country, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And there was a ship that came into show and persons got onto the ship. So now, as we got onto the ship, there was animals in the ship and there were people. But as we were in that, we could see some of the, what do you call that now? The sides of the ship were like it was made of glass, so that you could see outside into the water. And I would have seen the fishes swimming by, etc., etc. But we were all in there and we were underneath the water. So that this ship became like a submarine. And that was that vision. So then in 2022, Yahuwah brought another dream to me. And this was on the 29th of November 2022. And again, I dreamt that I was in a building that looked like I would call it a holding place, but it looks like more like a church, like a warehouse or something like that. And I was in this building with other people, but all of the people that were there with me were dressed in white. We were there and it appears that we could not go outside because someone had said that the roads are blocked by the government. Listen carefully, brothers and sisters, because prophecy, when the Lord shows you things, you have to pay attention to every detail. So the roads were blocked by the government. For some reason, the water outside of this holding place of building that we were in were being checked by different persons on a regular basis. Because I could see that they would stick something down into a hole and bring it back up to see if the water level had risen. And then that person would show everybody where we are in terms of the level of the water. And then she says, when the last time she checked it, she said, we will be leaving soon. And then after that, brothers and sisters, my spirit was transferred or transported to what I would call outside of the building or holding place or whatever it was. I came to be outside. And what I saw there was a group of ladies knitting blankets. So they had this wool and they are teaching these women to knit. And in my spirit, I am hearing these blankets are for the journey because the place where we are going will be cold. So these women were knitting woolen blankets to keep others warm as well as themselves. So that's vision number 2. So hear this. There's vision number 3, which occurred on the 30th, again, November 2023. And when the Lord brings these, it's because of the urgency. They come one by one by one. And then he says, and then what I wrote here is that I dreamt that I was traveling, found myself traveling again in a boat again. Note, the dream on the 29th, which was the night before, that one was in a structure, but I didn't realize it was either, I didn't know whether it was either a boat or what, but they were checking the water levels to see where it was. But now I am in a boat now. So I am traveling in this very huge boat with other persons. Then all of a sudden, this boat began to descend deeper and deeper into the heart of the earth underground. I told you, it's amazing the things that Jehovah shows his people. As we reached ground level, a gentleman came with a smaller boat, and I came off the boat with other persons. So I hopped off. To tell you how this thing was so real, and my foot got caught on the anchor for that bigger boat. The chain for that anchor, I had to adjust myself so that I could get off, I could free myself from that anchor. And so the gentleman came along with a smaller boat, and I could see persons were going into these smaller boats, and then they would go as if that area that they were going was like a cave. So they were going further into the earth now that you have come down to that particular level. But guess what? This stubborn Bernardine did not get into the boat because that is what we were instructed to do. So I turned back and walked towards the back of the boat where there was a place it seemed that people were going into. So as I walked nearer and nearer to this room that was there, I saw persons coming out. The ethnicity of those persons was Caucasian. And all of these persons that were coming out maimed in some way, shape, or form. So that they would be missing an arm, part of the hand, part of the foot. Something will be missing. And I was perplexed. So I walked more and I went up into that place. And as I got there, a voice said to me, "Do not walk to the left nor to the right. Keep to the center." or else, well, something will happen to you. So I started to walk, and as I walked, I saw persons on the ground. There were persons there as if they had not listened to the voice that told them where to walk. And so some of them were on the ground in pain as if they were immobile. Not immobile, but their mobility was restricted, and as if something had happened to them to cause them not to be able to get up from where they were. But they were all there, riding in pain on the left and on the right. And then my spirit was transported from there. And where I ended up in this room where I saw an elderly lady, and she was of African descent. That elderly lady was wearing glasses, and she was slim, and she was sitting at a desk. And I didn't notice my surroundings at the time. But what I noticed was that this lady was putting tags on people. She was calling out their names, putting tags on them, and grouping them together in groups. But I didn't know if the groups had names. Suffice to say that she called your name, you came, you got your tag, and then you went in your group. As I got my name tag and I went out, at this time, I didn't see myself in a group, but I went to the doorway that I had to go through after I would have dealt with the lady at the desk. Brothers and sisters, what I saw was just mountain and greenery. That is all I saw. End of vision. So that is number 3, right? So number 4 was on the 4th of January, 2023. So I saw myself listening, or I found myself listening or watching a TV broadcast because the television appeared before me. And then there were 2 news anchors on the television. One was a man and one was a woman. And the man was telling the woman, the man broadcaster was telling the woman, "Come, let me show you this." And as he said those words, the screen changed and there was a scene that appeared on the TV. Much like if you're looking at the TV and they're doing a report, and they would switch and show you what is on the television. So what I saw was amazing, brothers and sisters. As he said, "Come, let me show you this," I saw a stampede of animals. You hear me? Various animals. There was not one distinct animal that I could say, oh, it was a herd of cattle, or it was a pack of wolves, or anything like that. But it was a mixed group of animals. And these animals were going in one direction. And if I were to tell you from what direction to what direction, because of the vantage point that I was at, they were traveling from west to east. Okay? West to east. And I distinctly saw an ostrich in the dust because the animals were going. I distinctly saw an ostrich get out of line. And as soon as it ran out of line, it jumped back into line, and all of the animals were going in one direction. And then the news anchor, he said, "Let me show you an aerial shot." And that aerial shot that he showed was more like a radar. So that you saw the animals from in the air, but you didn't see their physical form. I guess because of all the dust, you saw the images portrayed on that TV screen. And it was, I could remember seeing four lines, as if an army, like the army, these military persons, when they're having their parades, they will be in lines of fours or threes or whatever have you. But these animals were in lines of fours going in that particular direction. And let me tell you this, even though it looked as if it was a stampede, these animals were not misbehaving and fighting. They were all going in that direction in an organized manner. So when I say stampede, I don't necessarily mean that they were chasing and running, but they all were going in that direction in an organized manner. So this brings me to the point that I want to make and the questions that I want to leave in the minds of you, my people, and you who will listen to what I have to say. You whom the Ruach will rest on your heart to decipher whether or not what was revealed to me is going to happen. Now, I want you, brothers and sisters, to make your own judgment, to go back to the Most High and to ask Him to reveal to you whether this event is going to happen. Because a similar event occurred before, and this was when Moshe or Moses was leading the children of Israel out of Egypt. It was man, woman, boy, girl, and animals that were being led into the wilderness to safety, into the land of milk and honey, as Yahweh would have told Moshe, into their chosen land, away from the oppression, away from all the evils that pervaded Mitzrayim or Egypt at the time, away from all the horrors that they faced, away from all of the wickedness that Pharaoh and his men meted out to them. Such a time like this is going to come again, brothers and sisters. Such a time again is what has said. And so Jeremiah 31:10, King James Version says, hear the word of Yahuwah, O nations. Didn't say one nation, it said nations. Declare it in the coastlands far away. Coastlands, islands. He who scattered Israel will gather him and will keep him as a shepherd keeps his flock. So the Lord is going to regather Israel one day. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. Judah was dispersed to the four corners of the earth. As a matter of fact, Judah was the last tribe that was scattered. Where did Judah end up? Let me give you a little insight. I had a dream one night. Can't remember the date now. I dreamt that the Most High showed me the map of Africa. And the map of Africa, it's zoomed in as if when you're using a camera or if you're using your phone, you pinch the phone and you can bring the image closer, or you can use that icon on your computer. When you take the mouse and you click on it, that says plus or minus and it brings the image closer. So the image came closer to me and I saw the word Judah on the map of Africa. And that part where it was as if it was between the middle part of Africa towards West Africa. That is what I saw. And as I saw that, it made me, it had me in one, it had me to wonder what the Most High was showing. But as he brings these visions to me, I begin to see clearly exactly what he wants to show me. That Judah was dispersed. Judah was dispersed. If you look at the transatlantic slave trade, you will see that Judah was dispersed to North America, to South America, to the Caribbean, to all over the world where slavery was. So, brothers and sisters, Yahuwah is going to remove his people again from the oppression and from all of the hardships that they have suffered and pull them back out of this literal, what do we call it, literal, this figurative Egypt that we are all in right now, because we are his chosen people. He is going to pull his people out. So, brothers and sisters, as you can see, there were several revelations that Yahuwah gave to me, and I urge you to prayerfully go back and ask him to reveal to you whether this is indeed going to happen. But there is going to be a time when Yahuwah will rescue his people from all the persecution and all the hurt and pain and anguish they have been suffering. The remnant will be regathered. Israel will be regathered. Yasharal, Israel, will be regathered. And that is soon to come. I thank you for watching my videos, brothers and sisters. Yahuwah bless you abundantly.